Today, we discuss all things 105 in your Dynasty Superflex rookie drafts. We discuss who we are considering to pick here. It's a lot of players right now. What we are considering doing with the pick when we're on the clock, as well as trades in real leagues involving this pick. Stick around for all that and more. Welcome into the Dino Construction Podcast. Justin here with David and JP. This is part of a bigger series. It is our Dynasty Draft Guide series. What to do with the 10, insert number here. Today it is the 105. Of course, we've already had the 101 through 104, 106 through 112 incoming. So make sure to hit that like button, hit that subscribe button so you don't miss any of the ones that come. And check out the ones before if you have not seen them yet in the episode description. All that being said, let's hop right into who has been drafted before. And David, who have we taken so far in this exciting 2025 rookie class?
Yeah, 101 pretty obvious. Running back Ashton Jeanty. 102 we took our wide receiver 1 Ted McMillan. 103 quarterback 1 Cam Ward, and 104 running back 2 Omarion Hampton.
Of course, feel free to let us know in the comments below if we're wrong on any of those picks. And if you want to tell us twice, you can go back to the video where we made the pick. Tell us there as well. We've got to consider who are we going to draft here at 105, and in some ways it's kind of when the draft sort of began. JP, there's only 1 or 2 players, right?
No, not this year. Not this year. I think we're waiting on the NFL draft. We're really going to be keeping our eye on landing spots and draft capital for this tier because there's a lot of players in consideration here. We've got guys like Trayvon Henderson, Quinshon Judkins, Caleb Johnson, Tyler Warren, Colston Loveland, Shador Sanders. I'm not done. Emeka Egbuka, Luther Burden, Matthew Golden, Travis Hunter. I mean, there's a lot of guys in consideration here. These are all really talented players, but nobody we feels like a can't miss player.
Do you need a quick water break after listing all those names? You good, JP? That was a...
Yeah, I do. Thank you.
Yeah, I got you. Don't even worry about it. We don't necessarily expect all these players to still be in consideration after the NFL draft. I think it's pretty reasonable to expect that we'll have a clear, if not 105, 105 to 107, the 3 premier players out of this big group of players. Maybe we won't. Maybe this will just be just pure chaos and pandemonium in the street. Also possible and fun for where I have a lot of late firsts. But as of right now, it's kind of cloudy. We don't really know who we want to pick here. We feel like it's a big tier. So that opens up the door for a lot of trade strategy questions. We're going to start, of course, as we always do, looking at trades from dynasty-daddy.com. We're going to start with a very small micro tier down question. Going to start with David on this one because you like process trades. Is this too micro process? The 105 or the 106 and 307? Do you have strong enough conviction that there's going to be a mini tier break at the 105 that you wouldn't take a free third here? The 105 might move up to the 104. What are you doing?
I'm sticking with the 105. Not really that difficult here. If you're on the clock and you just can't decide between 2 players and it truly is a free third, I guess fine. Go ahead, but there's no way I'm doing this before I'm on the clock, and even then it's really hard to imagine. That third is just, it's nothing,
If it's a 26 third that stays flexible for a year, more interest or still?
More interest, sure, but still wouldn't consider it till I'm on the clock at the absolute earliest.
2 thirds, 2 26 thirds, would you make this move down today?
I want something that excites me if I'm doing it today. Give me a reason to do it today, otherwise I'm going to wait. I don't think someone would pay enough to give me a reason today. It's just such a small move that there's no reason to do it right now.
JP, start 11, Garrett Wilson, or the 105, 201, and 202.
A lot of times I like to be consolidating into these players like this. I personally really like 201 and 202 right now. I think things will shift a little bit, but start 11, I think I might actually take the package because that 202, 201 could be like a Colston Loveland, Matthew Golden on top of whoever I get at 105.
Yeah, we like the possible projected depth at those places in this draft class, especially if I replaced Garrett Wilson with the 102 in this year's draft class. Are you taking the 102 or the 105, 201, and 202?
I still think it's a little tough, but 102 with the flexibility, I think it's a little bit more valuable. Yeah, just based on the flexibility, I think I might lean the 102 just a bit because I think I could do a little bit more with that 102, just the shine that it has.
So you're taking the 102 over Garrett Wilson then in this vacuum, JP? I'm trying to do a little transitive property gotcha.
Right? Yeah, I know what you mean. I'm not that excited about Garrett Wilson with Justin Fields, honestly. So I think I might slightly lean 102 right now.
Interesting. David, can I throw this one at you too?
Yeah, I mean, I understand taking the package in both situations because we do like that 201, 202 right now. I think I could take the package here with Garrett Wilson, especially if it's start 11. But I would take Garrett Wilson over the 102 right now personally. I get that it's close. Like, it's not saying it's a horrible take there to take the 102, just my preference. I still believe in the talent of Garrett Wilson and my maybe it's my Ohio State roots, but I'm hopeful that Fields and Wilson can re-spark their college connection and get another 140 targets Garrett Wilson's way next year.
Yeah, and I mean, this is not a bad deal. The 105, 201, 202, that's overwhelming with 3 shots in that kind of mega tier that is not yet split from Pangea into multiple tiers as of this point. David, start 11, half PPR for whatever that matters for how you value the 105. Trevor Lawrence or the 105.
Yeah, I like this one. It made me think, you miss out on Cam Ward. You don't really like Shador's spot. You need a quarterback. I think this is pretty easy to do if that's your case. If you have an excess quarterback, and that's Trevor Lawrence, I could also see trading it for the 105. So it is team dependent for me, but I think in most cases I will lean Trevor Lawrence here.
And JP, start 12, so extra depth. 1.75 tight end premium, Hurts or the 105 and Drake May.
As much as it hurts, I think I will go with Hurts. I really like Drake May. I just think the 105, if you look at the value of it like in a startup right now, probably around like a 5th round pick. And I just think Hurts, he's just so proven. He's so good in fantasy. I think May could be very good in fantasy, but we know that Hurts is. So I'm going to go with the security with Jalen Hurts there.
Yeah, that's a tough one. And to start 12, I can definitely understand down tiering into Drake May in the 105, especially if you're looking to move in more of a rebuild, retool year type of thing. That's right around the point of pain that I think is a fair value. Yeah, David was discussing this recently. He said, I believe you heard this on a DT5 channel, that they said it was somewhere around the 104, 105 is when they're starting to consider tiering down from a Burrow, a Hurts to like a May. Is that correct, David?
Yeah, they said 104 Jason right in that range. So Jason a little bit more than the 104. So not quite 105, but it was a show, so they weren't going through pick by pick what they would take. I'm sure if they're saying they would probably do the 104, they would at least think about the 105. So I think this is a good offer, and it's going to make whichever side of it you're on, you're going to have to think about it.
And moving a little bit more into this concept, I just want to touch on the very first question we had, the 105 questions about looking at tiering down off of this and how we are dealing with that right now. So let's just first say, do you have interest in, before we even talk about tiering down off of this, in acquiring this because of the potential ability to get your choice of a guy who could potentially move up into that elite tier? I think the 105 is more attainable than the top picks because we all, I think, know who's going in the top few picks. So is this something you're personally looking to target in either of your leagues? I'll start JP first, then David.
Where am I moving from? Like the 109, 110? Is that what you're thinking?
Just, are you trying to target this pick in general because of that?
I know landing spot in draft capital definitely matter, but I just think these prospects are so similar that I don't think I am going to be targeting the 105. I think it could break into a tier of 105 to 107, 108. So I think I could see myself more likely to target the 107 range. But the 105, I'm just not. It's tough for me to think that the 105 player is going to be in the same tier as the tier 2 players that we just mentioned in the prior episodes.
Yeah, I kind of agree with you there. I think it's more likely that you're trading into the top of a tier than you're somehow getting into the bottom of that tier 2. I just don't like trading into the top of a tier. So, am I interested? Sure, but at what price? Like JP said, if I got to pay more to go to the 105 and the 107, obviously I have to pay a little more. But am I just paying a 307? That's fine. We had that trade earlier. I'll throw in a third to move up a couple spots just cause. But am I willing to pay realistically what it's going to cost to get the 105 versus the 108? I'd much rather go to the 108 area.
And similar question I've asked in other videos, going to throw out there the 105 for a 26 second and what pick? How low will you go? Because I'm assuming you said 25 third doesn't interest you, but I know start 11 or stock format, 26 seconds do interest you. David, 106, 107, 108, where's that line for a 26 second for you?
I think I'd comfortably go to the 108 right now. I might consider a little further if my team allows me. I feel pretty confident we're still going to feel really good about at least 3 or 4 of these guys. So I think I'd risk it and go to the 108. And if I trade out of that tier into the top of the next one, then it kind of sucks. But a second solid, future second that gives you a liquid asset. Start 11, that second could become a usable player. So I think that's good. I think that's about where I'd go. What about you, JP?
Yeah, I don't really disagree much. I think that tier break might come at 107, 108 range. Hard to say for sure. It could be the 109 as well. But just based on the risk appetite, I think at 108 would be much more comfortable. If it was a 109, I think I'd probably try to push for just a little bit more on top.
That's definitely fair. Say we're not talking a 26 second, just looking at if you can try to get the 111, 112. Like what are like compositions of trades within this, like moving down? Because we saw the 105 versus we saw Garrett Wilson versus like the 105, 201, 202. Are you willing to like try to like move down to the 112, 202, try to get into the bottom end of this super tier at this point? Like are these deals you think are possible at this point? Is that something you're interested in doing if you have to split assets, David?
The question is, what's the price? What am I getting? If I have to split assets, I'm more willing to do it. But if I'm going from 105 to the 111, 112 without any further knowledge than we have today, March 25th. Again, I'm probably going to need enough that you make me want to do it.
No, so I'm asking for a package of 2 picks down lower in this tier. If you're getting like the 111 and the 201, the 112 and the 111, something like that, is that a deal that you think is viable? Is that something you think you can get?
You might be able to get like 111, 112. I think that's about what it would take for me to think about that right now. Probably do it. Just hope for the best, especially if I need to split assets. But I don't think like 201, 202, I'm not going to go that far. If you give me like the 109 and the 202, 203, something like that, yeah. I mean, we just said we moved to the 108 for a 26 second. So it's definitely risky. But if you have a team that needs to split assets, you need to take risks. So yeah, if I might take like the 201 and one of those 110 to 112s if I'm really desperate.
I think I would too. I think the 202 makes me a little bit more nervous. It's because Travis Hunter is in this big old group. And if he goes, let's say he goes to the Giants where they have like neighbors and they just really want to use him at corner, they communicate that to us, then I think the 201 is more where the tier break will be. So I think if I can get the 201 and 110, like I said, I like these prospects a good bit. So obviously landing spot and draft capital is going to dictate things, but I think I would for 110 and 201, maybe even 111. I might try to push for more if it's the 111, like a third or something.
Just kind of trying to think about like ways to play on what we think are a big tier right now, even though we've admitted we think this is going to split into multiple tiers. Another question that we've had a few times, but now we're getting into a range of picks that's less valuable. If we're at the 105 and we need wide receiver, is this T. Higgins range? Is this try to drop down just a few picks to pick a wide receiver in this draft range? Are we going after what are our targets here? It's a great range for running back. It's an icky range for a wide receiver, I feel like, just as a pick value as well as the players that we can necessarily pick today potentially.
I kind of disagree with that.
Yeah, I think if you refer back to our wide receiver tier video, it was about a month, might have been a month or month and a half from now, but after you get past Roma Dunze, T. Higgins, Rashee Rice, like that group of players, when you're looking at Devontae Smith, Xavier Worthy, Jordan Addison, are you comfortable sending the 105 to get Devonta Smith, Xavier Worthy? I don't think any of those guys, but I think you'd have to kind of target a Roma Dunze or T. Higgins. Otherwise, the other guys don't really get me excited after Dynasty wide receiver 16, 17.
Yeah, and I kind of want to push back on this not being a good range for wide receivers. I think by the end of the NFL draft, there will be at least one wide receiver we're comfortable taking at the 105. I think there's a very real chance there's 2 or 3 that we're considering here. If I can't get someone I'm comfortable with, which I'm not really comfortable with, like Devonta Smith, Xavier Worthy, those guys. So if I can't get someone in one of our higher up tiers, I'll just hang on to it and hope for the best.
Can't blame you for that at all. I feel like we talked a bit about trade strategy, how we're viewing this, tiering down, if we're interested in tiering up to this pick, etc. So please make sure to let us know if you have any additional questions, where you think we're wrong in the comments below. But we're going to move on to our final arguments for who we should be selecting here. And the first player, David, your Buckeye, give us the arguments for Travion Henderson.
Yeah, if you watched the 104 video, JP gave a pretty good case for him. He is a very explosive player. He's a good receiver. He's a great pass blocker. He's going to be on the field for passing downs no matter where he ends up. Question really is, how much of the early down work is he going to get? How much touchdown upside will he have? I think because of how explosive he is, he's still going to have a chance to score enough touchdowns. This is the kind of running back that NFL teams love these days. He is a little smaller than some of the other guys, but he's still 5'10", 200, a little over 200 pounds. So he crosses that imaginary threshold of 200 pounds that some people find very important. And I think at least some data backs that up. So I'm not trying to call him out, but I think Gibbs was 199. So there's always that joke there.
Gibbs sucks because of that, though.
Yeah, exactly. Gibbs sucks, right? Like, honestly, we're talking about Gibbs. There's similar players. I'm not going to say Travion Henderson is the next Jahmyr Gibbs. Obviously, that's an incredibly high bar.
JP, did you hear him say that Travion Henderson is the next Jahmyr Gibbs? That's all I heard.
I think I've heard that, actually.
But yeah, I mean, he's the same, similar player. You can use him out of the backfield. You can expect some home run from him. Hit 22 miles an hour in GPS speed as a ball carrier last year. So I think just with the explosiveness and the big playability, the 3-down back potential, I think Travion Henderson is who I would take right now at the 105.
Yeah, I think there's a lot of other players in consideration here. But given that we're talking 1.7510 in premium, I'm going to make the case for Tyler Warren, guy who just came off of John Mackey Award, first team All-American. Guy even rushed 25 times for 218 yards. God, what if he goes to the Broncos? Are you kidding me? Passing stats, 3 for 6, 35 yards and a touchdown. He can do everything out there. And wait, did I mention 1,200 receiving yards, over 100 receptions, 8 touchdowns, 30% dominant rating as a tight end, 0.23 missed tackled force per attempt, 0.15 first downs per route run, like these advanced metrics. We'd love a lot of these stats for a wide receiver. The guy plays tight end. He also rushes out of the backfield, like just an athlete. He's just crazy. Also, the guy's played with NFL tight ends and done better than any of them. Brenton Strange, Theo Johnson, potentially 2 starting tight ends in the NFL. And this guy played on the same team with them, learned from them, and had a better season either of them ever did at a tight end factory of a school. It's not Iowa, but I mean, Penn State, we've seen some tight ends come from Notre Dame. Like, these schools that know how to do it. And this guy is that guy. I think in a tight end premium, the upside that he has, look at where Brock Bowers is going in the first round of startup. Hard to see Travion having that upside of going in first round of startup. So potential case to be made here for Warren. JP, I know you're not making a specific player case, but talk to us about why we might be considering a wide receiver here after the draft.
Yeah, here on the screen, you can see we got Emeka Egbuka, Luther Burden, and Matthew Golden. These are all guys that we think have a chance to go in the late first round of NFL drafts. It's going to take a really good landing spot for them to climb up to the 105. I'm thinking probably the Chargers or the Broncos, where they have a chance to be a wide receiver one with a good quarterback, good offensive mind. I think Egbuka and Burden are going to be the favorites because Matthew Golden, although in the NFL draft community, it seems like he might be the favorite to be the wide receiver 2 in this draft class. When you just look at production profiles, Luther Burden and Egbuka just stand out much more, so it's easier to push them up to the 105. But we could certainly see one of these guys be there because there's going to be hype. If Burden goes to the Broncos, I think that's very, very interesting. Same thing for Egbuka as well. The guy's really, really good. I think he's not just a slot player, and I think teams are really going to value his skill set a lot. The guy who's going to be on the field all the time because he's also a really, really good blocker.
And of course, there are running backs you mentioned at the beginning, Judkins, Johnson, both guys that could easily be the 105 post-NFL draft. We like Henderson a little better. If you like Shedeur Sanders, we cannot blame you for that quarterback in Superflex at the 105. If that's your team need, you've explored everything. Can't blame you for that. But JP, going to ask you to make or break the tie between Henderson and Warren, the arguments that we decided were the most deserving given the information we know pre-NFL draft. And who are you going to pick, JP, from David and my argument? Don't break my heart.
I think both of these guys are pretty similar in value. We just did a startup, and they went pretty closely to each other. But right now, I'm going to leave with Travion Henderson. I really, really like his skill set a lot. I think he's a safe player in the NFL who's going to, like David said, be on pass. He's going to be on the field for passing situations all the time because of what he can do as a receiver and a blocker. And he's just so explosive.
Cannot blame you for that pick at all. I think I have him slightly over Warren here. Could consider going Warren on certain roster builds. I'm glad that in most leagues, most startups, we don't have to make these picks before the NFL draft because I could certainly see us being wrong on this one after the NFL draft. But as of today, the athleticism he has, I have him there. I think it's somewhat consensus for us all, although we can all understand the consideration, admit we might be wrong. in the future. Let us know if you think we are today in the comments below. Would love to hear from you. Very excited to keep unpacking this super tier of difficult to rank players as we continue moving through this tier series to come. So thank you for joining us for another episode of the Data Construction Podcast. We hope you found this as helpful for you as it was for us. Please remember to like and subscribe wherever you listen or view. And from all of us here at the Data Construction Podcast, until next time.